All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fantasy Football Live with the Fantasy Sports Boss. It is Monday, November 6th, 2023. We have the New York Jets against the Los Angeles Chargers in a game that carries, decent playoff implications if you are both teams who are, really towing that line of being in it or being out of it, both the Jets and the Chargers. So we'll talk about that today. Also want to delve in on some key players that have been letting us down for a few weeks now. Looking at you, Tony Pollard, looking at you, Bijan Robinson, even looking at you, Lamar Jackson. We're going to go into each one of these cases, discuss if there is hope for a turnaround and if there is no hope and that they're just going to continue to disappoint you. Also going to update the injury report. So there's some news that we need to be concerned about with, primarily that Ja'Marr Chase has a back injury. And you know what? It didn't sound so great today when the matter was discussed with the media. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on that and some other developments as well that we're going to touch on. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and the notification button. So start Fields or K1. I don't even know if Fields is starting. He was limited today. Not sure yet on what the situation is there. So I can't really give you an answer on that one yet. To go 7-3, was thinking of Jaylen Warren for Raheem Mostert. That works. Yeah, that works out good for me as far as Jaylen Warren is concerned. And like I said, we'll get to all of that in a second. As far as myself is concerned, so again, my once 5-0 pristine team is going to drop to 5-4. But right now, so I'm in my work league, which I was 7-1 going in. I thought I had no hope going into last night, right? So I was down, I believe 20 points, and my opponent had Tyler Conklin going tonight and Ja'Marr Chase. And I have Austin Ekeler. So, and I had Josh Allen last night as well. The way everything worked out, Ja'Marr Chase hardly did anything yesterday. I believe he only had 10 fantasy points. Of course, he's got the back injury. And right now, going into tonight, I'm only down 10 points. Now, my opponent has Tyler Conklin, and this is the second best team in the league. And I have the top record, and I have Austin Ekeler. So making up a 10-point deficit, I think, is very doable. The projection has us pretty much as a slight, an even matchup in terms of who's going to win. I'm up 51 to 49%. So I think with Austin Ekeler, I know it's a tough assignment against the Jets. I think I could pull this out, and that would bring my record to 8-1. I don't remember in recent memory, at least, having a record that good going into the stretch run of the season. Really, we are almost in the stretch run. We go through week 14, and then we have 3 rounds of playoffs we have to worry about. So that's good. However, the flip side is I'm 5-4 in my other league, and I'm in a complete logjam in terms of possibly. I've already blown the top 2, the first round bye. I'm now in 3rd place, so we'll have to see what happens there. Yeah, Arthur Smith, Randy, we know the deal. There's really no point in rehashing it, right? He's just an arrogant ass who thinks he's invented football. And, I saw a tweet today. It was really telling that the Falcons had a drive where the first down play was a run to Tyler Algier. Second was a incomplete pass to Jonnu Smith. And the third play was a short toss to Jonnu Smith that did not get a first down. So 3 plays. Bijan Robinson was not on the field for any of them, and Kyle Pitts did not get any targets. It was Jonnu Smith 2 targets, Tyler Algier run. Like, if that doesn't encapsulate the unbelievably inept coaching of Arthur Smith when it comes to the offensive side of things, I don't know what does. And it's just not going to get any better. Would you do this trade in 2018 PPR? Trading away Christian Kirk for Javonte Williams and Higgins. Kirk for Javonte and Higgins. I would absolutely do that. I thought there was going to be more to that. Christian Kirk for Javonte Williams and Higgins. Yeah, I would definitely do that. I mean, especially with Ja'Marr Chase, we don't know his situation going forward. Yep, notifications. Thank you, Delajeezy. So you know what? As far as Chase, I don't know. It's way too early in the week to even think about that in terms of his availability. He has played through injuries before, unless it's obviously very serious, like the one he had last season. So we'll just have to see. Swift and Pollard as running backs. Yeah, I mean, listen, those 3 guys have really underachieved. Swift not as much, but the other 2 for sure. I think Debo's supposed to be back this week. Yeah, if Debo comes back, it's still going to be very volatile. It's always the situation with him. So let me go through the injury report. So Justin Fields was limited, and how does the pistol Cole Kmet was added to the injury report as well, which is not what you want to see on a short week. And they played Thursday. Do I think Fields is going to play this week? I don't know. He actually was dropped in one of my leagues. I did put a claim in on him because why not? At least as a bench guy, could use, certainly really good insurance. But I think it might be a quick turnaround. I'm not sure he'll be in there. One guy who will be starting this week is Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray will get the start, and it's really going to be, I think it's going to be a nice finish to the season for Kyler Murray. All right, so we know Kyler Murray tends to get injured a lot. Obviously, he's a smaller quarterback, but he can run. He's got good accuracy, and you know what? His weapons aren't bad. All right, he's got Trey McBride, who's really developing. He's got Marquise Brown, who is very, very underrated. So I think that certainly the opportunity is there for Murray to have a solid finish to the season. Would you put him in a game against Carolina or start Murray versus Atlanta? I probably would go Fields because there's going to be rust with Murray because that's usually what, the first game back especially. That would be my answer there. Drop Foreman and kept Rashawn Johnson. I mean, listen, trying to figure out that Chicago backfield is fool's gold. Now, Khalil Herbert, they've opened up the window for him to return. So there's some guys now that are going to be coming back. So David Montgomery, basically Dan Campbell said he's going to be back this week. So that's one player I am getting back on my injury decimated team. And now the question is, what is the breakdown going to be between him and Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of workload? Has Gibbs made enough an impression to push for a 50-50 share? I think he has. And even Campbell mentioned it today that he is improving week by week. Now, with that being said, it's not – David Montgomery is still going to do all the goal line work, no doubt about it. He doesn't catch a lot of passes. That's going to remain the domain of Gibbs, but I think it could be a 50-50 share. So David Montgomery will drop, from a low-end running back 1 to, a high-end 2. And Jahmyr Gibbs will be a high-end running back 2, could reach low-end running back 1 status in PPR leagues. So we'll have to see about that. As far as Justin Jefferson, listen, O'Connell was very, very vague. Reading the tea leaves, I do agree, Joe, that I think it might be, week 11. I don't know if he's going to be back this week. And listen, they won all 4 games without him. So you have to think that Jefferson obviously sees that. They're winning games every, 4 in a row. He wants to probably get back in on it. They have a chance to make the playoffs. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Is Jamal Williams? No, I'm not doing anything with Jamal Williams. Listen, it's going to be Taysom Hill. It's absolutely going to be Taysom Hill. So in terms of being, the main guys. All right. So Debo risky as usual. Do you go Josh Downs this week? No, I wouldn't go Josh Downs. He's hurt. And he had a setback in that game. Should I try to pick up Quentin Johnson? Quentin Johnson, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm just sending a text. It's taken him a long time. As far as, it's not linear with these guys. He's a great athlete. Didn't do much in the preseason. A really slow start to the season. I think it's just taking him a while to get acclimated. That would be my answer to on that one. So, hey, Grind, don't stop. How are you? Now, another guy that might be coming back this week is James Conner. So we got to see what goes on with James Conner as well. I think he will be back. I think David Montgomery will be back. So those are 2 big running backs, value running backs that I think, have an opportunity to contribute right away. I think James Conner certainly will go back to being a bell cow because the running game has been completely non-existent for the Cardinals. It's been pathetic how bad the running game has been. So I think that Connor would be the one to absolutely go right back into the driver's seat there. All right, let me go through some of the other. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say. So Josh Dobbs, I said it yesterday on the show. What he did yesterday, like I'm the biggest. I want to run out and get a Josh Dobbs jersey. Like I really do. I am the biggest Josh Dobbs fan there is now. It is not an understatement to say that what he did yesterday, throwing 2 touchdowns, running for another, leading a comeback victory over the Atlanta Falcons, was one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen from a quarterback in all the years I've watched football. He literally didn't know the plays. The Vikings hurried to the line of scrimmage so they would have enough time for O'Connell in the headset to explain what the play was going to do, where to go. Like he knew nothing. He didn't even know some of his teammates' names. So they were coaching him each play as it was happening. So that to me was just an unbelievable, insanely awesome performance by Josh Dobbs. Like it was really, 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 really crazy how good that was. Oh yeah, no, Tater Tot, I'm not ignoring your comments. Don't worry. Yes, smash that like button. I really appreciate that. And if I missed your comments, guys, it's not personal. That was an incredible performance. And I really think Josh Dobbs, every time I've seen Josh Dobbs in the past, he's been terrible. Something has clicked for him this year. He's playing really well, whether it's in Arizona, now in Minnesota. And I think this is good news for TJ Hockenson. And I said from the beginning, I didn't think it was going to hurt Hockenson that much. But Justin Jefferson, he's got to get his rear end back onto the field. Is DJ Moore startable against Carolina corners? Yes, I think so. I mean, it's, if Fields is back especially. Fields feeds him constantly. Taysom Hill flex, yes, I would do that. Listen, Taysom Hill, I'm starting him the rest of the way. I lost Darren Waller, so I'm starting him the rest of the way, no doubt about it. And again, it's unfathomable to me how many guys I've lost in that one league. Mike Williams, let me figure it out. Mike Williams, Darren Waller, Justin Jefferson, David Montgomery, James Conner. So that's 5 really good players I've lost in that league. So, that's why I've lost, so many games in a row now. Wilson, I don't think so, Joe. I don't think so. Down by 8.7 tonight. 14 Breece Hall and Greg Zuerlein, Gerald Everett and Mosley. Yeah, I think you're getting the win. But I will say that the Chargers have played really well against the run. Huge night from Herbert and Allen. Yeah, I mean, you got to wish it into existence. Good move to Taysom Hill over Ingram or stay Evan Ingram. Ingram's been really good, but he's not scoring. Hill is scoring. So honestly, it's a coin flip. If you start both, put one in the flex and put one, in tight end. If I had to pick, though, I still would go Ingram. Bench one for the week: Higgins, Ridley, London, and Dell. Oh, you got to go Higgins. You got to go Ridley. Man, Dell is really good. I think you got to bench London. I just don't trust that coaching staff at all. Obviously, I have Hill and Laporta. Trade who? Trade Hill. I would trade Hill. Sit 2, DJ Moore, Higgins, Ridley, JSN, Dell, JSN and QJ. I would sit those guys. All right. So another thing I wanted to talk about, it is the tight end position this season. I have never seen the tight end position so deep as it is right now. Like, it is unbelievably amazing how good this position has been. Like, it got off to a rocky start. Like, a lot of the top guys disappointed. Kittle and Goddard and Darren Waller, those guys were really going bust early on. But the rookie class of tight end have all smashed. Dalton Kincaid, especially over the last month. Sam Laporte has been awesome. Even Luke Musgrave, not as good as those two, but he's been playing well. Then you have Taysom Hill. Then you have Cade Otton developing now. He was awesome this past week. Jonnu Smith, where did that come from? There's been so many tight ends this year. Like, it's not that hard to find a guy now that can be, a 10 to 15 point guy. Like, I've never seen it this deep before. And it just goes to show you that the way they're drafting these guys too, it's almost like they're putting the big receivers at tight end in college, and that's why they're coming in so ready to play, because Dalton Kincaid is really a receiver who's playing tight end. That's what it is there. And even Laporta to a lesser extent as well. And Ferguson, there's another one. Yes, thank you, Eddie. Which one do I trade? I would trade Ferguson. I would trade Ferguson. I don't think he's going to be as consistent as Laporta. JSN's Washington. Yeah, he does, but there's still a lot of competition there. I mean, DJ Moore, Higgins, and Ridley, I think I still would pick all of them. I would start both. Boss, but have Laporta at flex, but Taysom Hill flex. And look, wow, you have a pretty good tight ends. I mean, listen, if it's a standard league reign, you go Taysom Hill. If it's a PPR, you go Sam Laporta. That's how I would do it. Seahawks Washington shootout. It could be, but Geno Smith is just not playing well. Have Laporta, Kincaid, and Ferguson. Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody's really benefiting from these tight ends this year. It's unbelievable how good they have been. All right, so I'm just checking on one thing here. I just wanted to see something on tonight's game. All right, there's Gerald Everett. So, all right. Excuse. Bear with me one sec, guys. All right. Yeah, I just had to send another text. All right. Yeah, Ja'Marr Chase performance. Yeah, so Ja'Marr Chase's non-performance last night helped me for sure. Better stream this week. Raiders or Seahawks? Raiders. Raiders defense played really well. All right, so let me go through the injuries. We know about Murray. He's going to be activated. And this is your last chance. I've been trying so hard to get Marquise Brown. I cannot get it. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are kind of, aware of what's going on with Murray coming back. So Marquise Brown's value is going to go through the roof. There's no doubt about it there. All right, Kyron Williams will be Sean McVay says Kyron Williams will be back after he comes off injury reserve. Things are really starting to go into the toilet now for the Rams. It's falling apart. We saw how bad things were without Matthew Stafford yesterday with Brett Rippon, and that was obvious. We knew that was going to happen. There was no surprise there. No setbacks with Devin Achane's recovery. So he will be back in 2 weeks, according to Mike McDaniel, which is good. And listen, Raheem Mostert, I think he's slowing down a little bit. He might be getting a little gassed. It's a lot of work for a guy who has a very long injury history and who is not used to this kind of work. I mean, last year he split pretty much 50-50 with Jeff Wilson. Right now, he's getting the lion's share of touches. So we'll have to see. Hollywood, but he wants Dak. Well, if you have a quarterback already, Jermaine, I would still do it. Dak Prescott, for all the good that he does, he still took a sack at the end of the game. He steps out of bounds in the 2-point conversion. Like, he's still doing Dak things, right? He still drives you crazy. No update on JJ other than they're gonna monitor him this week and see how he does. I don't think he's coming back this week. Christian Watson, no concussion. He should be cut. I don't think Christian Watson should be on any roster. Like, that's how bad this offense has been. Now, on the bright side, Aaron Jones was finally unleashed. Like, we freed Aaron Jones, and the results were predictable. He caught a bunch of passes, had 6 targets, a lot of carries, had a fumble. But and yeah, I would trade Ridley for Hollywood. Yes, less competition for Arizona, and that chemistry with Murray and Brown is really good. Sorry. So I think that there's a lot of Aaron Jones can be really good the rest of the way. Like, there's really a prime opportunity for him to finish really strong if they continue to feed him. We all know A.J. Dillon stinks, so I think that LaFleur knows he's got to win games too. He's feeling some heat. Aaron Jones is his best option. Farewell, never vote against Tony Pollard. Yeah, Tony Pollard's been. We're going to touch on all these guys for sure. Would you drop Flowers for Dell? Yeah, how quickly did things fall off with Flowers? And listen, as a Lamar Jackson owner, I'm concerned because they're running the ball a lot. All right. I mean, I get it. Lamar Jackson's never going to be a 300-yard passing guy, but he's got to throw touchdown passes to go with all that rushing, or he's not going to come home and meet his projections. And the last couple of weeks with all of these Gus Edwards runs, and now we have Keaton Mitchell. Remember, guys, I said weeks ago, he is a Devin Achane clone, small and incredibly fast, 4.37 in the 40. Part-time guy in college. He's going to be a part-time guy in the NFL. It seems like they're going to roll 3 backs, which is not ideal. this team looks scary. The Ravens really look like they can win the Super Bowl this year. But Mitchell's probably going to be the number one waiver ad this week. Not sure I agree with that. I admire the ability. He could be a nice piece the rest of the way, but they're going to still give Gus Edwards the ball around the goal line, not Mitchell. And listen, they still like Justice Hill, and they have Lamar Jackson, who could always tuck it and run as well. What happened to Flowers? Yeah, nothing really happened with that. They've just become more and more run heavy. Odell has gotten hot the last couple of weeks as well. Bateman is an afterthought. Mark Andrews has really been hot the last couple of weeks. So it's the target competition on a team that doesn't throw it that much really lessens the potential for Flowers to have those consistent weeks. I think he's worth it, but I wouldn't go crazy. Like if you have the number one waiver claim, I'm not sure I would use it on him because again, there's just a lot of competition there. I have Mauricio. I started with Tua on a bye. I would. I mean, you're not going to get that run passing combination anywhere else, really, on the waiver wire at least. Yeah, and I guess we could talk about Lamar Jackson. So I traded Jalen Hurts for Lamar Jackson and Garrett Wilson in my sinking ship team. It was a move out of desperation. The team that traded me Jackson, I'm actually playing this upcoming week. And I knew that Hurts had a bye. So not only did I improve myself during this bye week coming up, heavy bye week, but I hurt my opponent because I traded him Hurts. Hurts is now on a bye, so I don't have to play Hurts this week. And he didn't catch it. Now, listen, Hurts scored 29 fantasy points. He's going to be a monster every week. I'm worried about the knee. He had another scare. He misses games every year. Hasn't missed any time yet, but as the season goes on, he gets more and more banged up. So, I'm disappointed in what's going on with Lamar Jackson. He had a hot stretch at the beginning of October. It's been a struggle since. The fact that Gus Edwards is cashing in all these touchdowns, if it falls under, if it ain't broke, why fix it for Todd Monken? So they're going to keep giving him the ball in those situations, and that's going to hurt Jackson. Now, they have some tough competition coming up. So the game script has been very positive for the running backs going the last couple of weeks. Now they have the Cleveland Browns coming up, very tough defense. Same deal for Deshaun Watson. It's going to be tough on these quarterbacks this week. And Watson, by the way, looked really good on Sunday. Still believe in a talent, even though he's a scumbag. So, do I think things are going to change for Lamar Jackson? I think so. I think he'll be okay. But I don't think he's going to meet the preseason expectations. I just don't. He hasn't had as many smash weeks as, let's say, Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts, and even Joe Burrow. He was generally in that 4 or 5 range in rankings with Joe Burrow. Like he had the big 3, and then the next 2 was Jackson and Burrow in almost every league. Well, Burrow is incredibly hot, leaving Jackson in the dust over the last month, and I expect that to continue. So Jackson, needs to pick it up. Waddle to Higgins, who wins the trade? I like T. Higgins. Waddle just can't get over these injuries. Cam Akers, Daniel Jones. Yeah, a lot of big injuries this week. Dallas Goedert, a forearm fracture, I believe. They didn't put him on IR right away, which was surprising to me, but he's not going to be playing this week. Now, if you're a Devontae Smith owner, Dallas Goedert's injury is going to open up some more targets for Devontae Smith. So that's the one positive if you're an impatient Devontae Smith fan. And again, we don't wish injuries on anybody. I'm just speaking from a fantasy fallout perspective that Devontae Smith is going to be the one to vacuum up the looks that Dallas Goedert got. I think I should keep both Fields and K1. I have limited space. If you could, injuries, you want to protect yourself. Hurts on a bye next week, throwing out Kyler and Hollywood. Yeah, let's do it. Let's ride. I would do that. Absolutely. There are people out there. Yeah, there's also people out there who, and there's always one in every league who ambulance chases when you lose a player. That person will come right away and offer you a trade. Oh, you lost this guy. Let me offer you a trade. You know what I mean? Zay Jones, day-to-day with a knee injury, man, he's been out of sight, out of mind, right? And Zay Jones, if he does come, when he does come back, it's going to complicate things for Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley even more. Now, Ridley was good. Not this past week, but the week before, as I said he would be, because they were going to funnel looks to him to get him back on track. That's exactly what happened. Let's see if it carries over going forward. Day to day is Justin Fields. Wednesday will be the key day for him in terms of whether he plays. David Montgomery probably coming back. Kevin O'Connell says we're going to do what's best for Justin and make sure when he does return, he can be the Justin Jefferson we all know and expect to see. So that sounds like coach speak that he may not be ready this week and it's going to be more for next week. Waddle for Ridley. I like Ridley better. But still getting crap in your league. Aaron Jones at least back so you can stop bashing him. Yes. And you know what's ironic about that, K3, is that Jones is on my 7-1 team. But it just was driving me crazy, the whole situation. Now, if he was on my other league that's sinking into the abyss, then yeah, I'd be even more pissed. They hope to get Drake London back this week, according to Arthur Smith. Nobody cares what he has to say. Josh Dobbs will get the start. Cam Akers ruptured Achilles. So if you're an Alexander Mattison owner, I think that, he wasn't good. Alexander Mattison has not been good. He's been a volume-based player. He's getting the carries. He's getting the catches. He had a touchdown catch this past Sunday. He's getting the volume, which is buffering up his numbers. Not, per touch, he's been bad. But now the leash is longer with Akers out of the picture. As far as who wins, I think that the Chargers are going to win a close game. But they are a horrendously coached team. They should be so much better than their record, like really. Brandon Staley is Arthur Smith without the attitude. Allen Lazard will play tonight if anybody in a deeper league needs him. And I think that's pretty much it as far as the injuries. So, Daniel Jones. We didn't talk about Daniel Jones. Hollywood, I think I would sell high. I don't think, listen, it's hard to trade guys off a 29-point PPR game. But Dell, for the 3-4 weeks before and after the concussion, he really wasn't that good. He's had 3 smash weeks, and he's had a lot of inconsistent weeks as well. They have Dalton Schultz, who, again, remember in the summer I said Dalton Schultz would be a good value tight end for a rookie quarterback. Nico Collins has been really good. So, if you want to sell high, I would listen on him. Let's just put it that way. Giants are in shambles. They can't do anything. They're going to go with Tommy DeVito. They're going to crash and burn. I think Drake May or Caleb Williams is very much in play. They have to be. They can't go into next season with just Daniel Jones. He way too injury prone. His neck injury is probably going to end another neck injury will probably end his career. It's bad. It's bad. It really is bad. And as a Giant fan, I thought we were over this last year, coming back, winning season, new coach, win a playoff game against the Vikings on the road. And it's just not happening. And Saquon Barkley, pay the guy. And he's dealing with all this, trying to keep the team afloat. Just pay the guy. So, yeah, good job, Ed. That's a way to stick with it. And I had the opposite situation. Oh, my God, Cowboys defense. Wow. Yeah, Cowboys defense. That is going to be – I think the last time they played the Giants, didn't they put up like 30-plus points? I think that's like the least amount they're going to put up this week. 48 weeks for Goddard. I didn't see that on Goddard, but yeah, a fractured forearm. I can't see him playing for a really long time. Do you think Brees and Everett get 25 for 150 on the week? Full PPR get 25 each? 25 between them? I think it could happen, yeah. Daniel Jones, I have mixed feelings on him. Listen, he won a playoff game on the road, and he was awesome. I think he threw 2 touchdowns and ran for 1 in that game. Barkley was huge as well, but listen, it's not easy winning on the road in the playoffs, and Daniel Jones did it, and he played well for them last year. He's got ability. Really good, much better runner than I thought he was coming out of college. Schooled by David Cutcliffe at Duke, which is what you want to see. Obviously, he was the one who helped the Manning brothers develop into the players that they were on the collegiate level. He just can't stay healthy. He just can't stay healthy. That's it. And it's a shame because, like I said, he's a really nice person because I've met him a number of times. How should I approach 49ers defense? Have Browns roster? You got to go with the Browns. The Browns defense is unbelievable. Some people started Gabe Davis. Listen, that is the story of Gabe Davis. There is no consistency, none at all. And now that Dalton Kincaid is taking off, they're really peppering him with targets. Obviously, Diggs is the guy. So it's going to continue to be that way. And Davis is just going to have to pick up with whatever is left over. Just to forget for New York Giants. Yeah, reset it next year, but they have to do something for the fan base. I know that they can take one of those top offensive tackles. The Notre Dame kid is, I know there's 2 offensive tackles that they think are going in the top 5, but you've got to come away with the quarterback. You absolutely have to come. Suck of the week, Michael Thomas didn't even get a target. He's got to be up there. I mean, there's just so many candidates this week for sure. I mean, Lamar Jackson, 11 points in a 37-point game. Kincaid, man, he's been really, really good. There's no doubt about it. I put Bijan Robinson on there because, listen, he was drafted in the middle of the first round. That might seem harsh, although he's second in the poll right now. So that just shows you I'm not alone in thinking this. He has a lot of untapped potential. Arthur Smith wants to do it his way. I think Robinson's been under 15 points in like 5 of his last 6 games in PPR, which is he's capable of so much more. He's capable of being the best player in fantasy. My biggest weakness in 5-4 team is the injuries. Like I said, Jefferson, Mike Williams, Darren Waller, James Conner, David Montgomery. During that streak of losing 4 games, I had CeeDee Lamb on a bye. I had lost Tank Dell to concussions. Like, it was incessant injuries. I just could not overcome all those injuries. Those were all my prime guys. So there was that was the issue more than anything. So, and I caught some bad matchups too. Those weeks where you play those teams that just go off. That hurt me as well. Quentin Johnson, slow to develop. That's the way I would describe it. Like I said, this is not a good coaching staff with the Chargers. They're not helping him develop, and that's why he's taking as long as he's taken to get going. Laporta and Kincaid, you play them both. Play one in flex and one in the tight end spot because they have that good of a chance to score each week, and they're catching a decent amount of passes. Not Mitchell, who's the best waiver. Taysom Hill, Tank Dell, they're right about that 50% mark. Season ending. I don't think it's season ending. He's on IR. I'm not sure it's season ending. I didn't see that. Now, Chase might miss some time. Back injury, first round picks besides McCaffrey not doing it. Yeah, Palomsky, there's been a lot of them. And it's, usually it's the running backs, but some of the receivers have gone down too. Dropping next week. Yeah, I think so too. All right, so Tony Pollard. Let's talk about Tony Pollard. Let me pull up Tony Pollard's numbers. So, listen, lots of hype. Came into the season, scored 2 touchdowns week 1 against the Giants, inheriting all the carries that Ezekiel Elliott left. And it seemed like he literally was headed for stardom. 22 points week 1, 19 in week 2. So even week 2, he didn't score. 7 catches, 37 yards, 72 yards rushing. Like, this is what we expected. Well, since then, 15, 9, 8, 17, 6, and 9 fantasy points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 of the last 5 games, Tony Pollard has been single digits in PPR, which is unbelievable. Like, it really is. What's going on here? Well, I'm not sure that he is physically, he looks good. He still looks good to me when he runs the ball. Is he wearing down a little bit? I'm not sure. He's not the biggest back. McCarthy has now made a concerted effort to throw the ball more. I know he heard the criticism at the offense, just was not doing well at all. Dak looked terrible. And now all of a sudden they started peppering CeeDee Lamb at targets, getting Jake Ferguson involved, and it's come at the expense of Tony Pollard. Alan Lazard is active tonight, guys. So it's been disappointing for sure. Now, I think he remains a good buy low. He gets the Giants this week. This is a great game script for him. We've already seen him dominate the Giants. The Cowboys are going to destroy the Giants again, second time this season. And this is the game where Pollard's going to get right. And if it doesn't happen here, then I have some serious reservations the rest of the way. Excellent trade value for Kamara. I wouldn't trade him. Listen, let's not overreact. I know he had 11 points in that game, and Taysom Hill's doing his thing. We know he's not going to get the goal line work, but he's on pace for 100 catches, like a running back on pace for 100 catches. So I wouldn't do that, Chill. But if to answer your question, again, it's hard to do running back for running back trades. You can maybe ask for Aaron Jones and a receiver. Tank Dell and Aaron Jones for Kamara. That might get it done. Christian Watson, yeah, listen, he's been so bad. But I told you guys that. I warned you about that one. I absolutely reminded you of that. So, yeah, so Tony Pollard, the Giants. Then he's got Carolina. Then he's got Washington. Those are 3+ matchup. Now is the time to buy low. I'm going to try to buy low. All right. This is, you want to trade Tank Dell off his hot streak, go for it. Try to get Tony Pollard. This is a really good stretch for him coming up, I think. Thoughts on Olave has been fine. Listen, you have Derek Carr, who's showing his age a little bit. I think if Olave had, listen, if he even with Tua, like if he has a quarterback that can get him the ball down the field, like he would be unbelievable every week, no doubt about it. And he was good the first few weeks. I think Derek Carr he's at the stage of his career where throwing deep is just not his strong suit. But great talent. He's on pace for 1,000 yards. I think, it's going to be some volatility, but he is clearly the number one guy. Taysom Hill is annoying a lot of people, but, like I said, it's working. You can't blame the Saints for going back to the well on this. Like, he's that impossible to deal with. Yes, so CeeDee Lamb going ballistic, as good as it gets, no doubt. And if I could get Justin Jefferson back, I would have him, Lamb, and Garrett Wilson with Tyler Lockett as my top 4 wideouts. CJ Stroud, 64 points. Yeah, so CJ Stroud, let's talk about him for a minute. He's another guy I wanted to talk about today. How bad did the Carolina Panthers feel right now watching this? There were a lot of reservations about Bryce Young because of his size. Could CJ Stroud be doing what he's doing right now with Carolina? Absolutely. Nobody, reflexively, everybody thought the Texans were like the worst team in the NFL, and it was easy to understand that. The Texans looked awful on paper. And the thing with CJ Stroud that I really liked about him, if anybody, there was a lot made about that test that he bombed, not the Wonderlic, but there was some kind of test he bombed. That made some GMs nervous. There's the curse of the Ohio State quarterbacks. Ohio State quarterbacks don't play well in the NFL. That's undeniable, especially in recent history. But the thing that I talked about that I really liked about Stroud, and I wrote about it in the prospect guidebook that I put out last March or February, whatever it was. You can't teach this kind of accuracy. CJ Stroud might be one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've seen come out of college in a very long time. And if you watched that game yesterday, he was throwing dimes all over the place. He's hitting outs, 20-yard outs like it's nothing. All right, that is a very difficult throw. He's throwing guys open, which is a skill that you can't teach. All right? Say what you want about that test that he took, that he failed miserably, that made a lot of people nervous. And I know Bryce Young too. Bryce Young has that kind of accuracy as well, but he doesn't have the size. He can't see down the field like CJ Stroud can. And Stroud is a good athlete. He doesn't run a lot. He wants to stay in the pocket, and it's working for him. And he has now turned Nico Collins into a star. He's turning Tank Dell into a star. Hell, he's made Noah Brown relevant. And what he's doing with Dalton Schultz, especially of late, is insane. 50+ fantasy points as rookie. He's thrown 1 interception. Peyton Manning is a rookie. I believe he threw 28 interceptions. He led the NFL. So this is uncharted territory. Like, we're talking Andrew Luck instant Pro Bowl talent. That's what we're talking about with CJ Stroud. You can't teach this accuracy. He's making everybody around him better. And if you're the Carolina front office, you are sick to your stomach right now. Now, do I still think Bryce Young will be good? I do. He was incredibly accurate himself in college. He won a lot of big games, but he's small. But then again, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, I can give you a lot of examples of guys like that. I think he'll be okay. It's a really bad Panthers team, but then again, you could say the same thing about the Texans. Underrated arm strength. Yes, that throw was ridiculous to Tank Dell. You can't teach that kind of accuracy. Like, it's that good. And I've said this before. The number one thing that causes quarterback prospects to go bust, lack of accuracy. That is the number one trait. Lacking that puts them on path to being a bust. Hockenson injury, I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he finished the game. I didn't see anything really on there that would have me concerned. Let me see here. I didn't answer your question. I didn't see anything about Hockenson's injury. I know he's got the little question mark next to him in Yahoo. Monday that he hopes Hockenson will be able to play Sunday. He's got a ribs injury. Expected to be a limited participant to begin the week, but they hope he won't be forced to meet. All right. Well, I mean, I didn't see that. I didn't get any news alerts on that one today, so that kind of slipped by me. Yeah, that's not ideal. But, I have Trey McBride. I do have Hockenson on my 7-1 team. I have Trey McBride on the bench, and I think Trey McBride will be okay. Excuse me. Now, especially now that Kyler Murray is back. Need 15.5 from Keenan. What do you think? Wow. I mean, he's got Sauce Gardner. It's going to be tough. He's going to need to score a touchdown. They do throw underneath a lot to him. That could work. This is like the worst matchup you can have for a wide receiver going against the Jets. I'm sorry, John. I'm just trying to be real with you. 15 is probably right where he's going to be. I think he's going to go over it. But then again, this is a plotting Jets offense as well. So there's no shootout here. I think it's going to go either way, honestly. But if I were to bet, I think he gets 16-17. Yeah, the Bengals, listen, the Bengals are impossible to deal with when Joe Burrow is playing this well. When he is healthy, as he is now, they are impossible. I know Chase is banged up, but he is throwing as well as I've seen him throw in a really long time. Starting the Jets defense. Yep, that's a good move. And the Jets defense next week make a really good matchup as well. I'm down and I have Wilson and Breece. Can they get me 30 together? Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall should. I mean, 15 each. I think it's possible. I think Hollywood could have a solid finish to the year. Yes, listen, K3, I've said it from the very beginning. Buy low, buy low, buy low, buy low on Hollywood Brown. This guy, you have to get him because with Kyler Murray, he's going to be unbelievable. Cleveland's going to beat the Ravens this week. I don't know. This Ravens team looks really good. And Deshaun Watson against that defense, I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. Miles Sanders looked pretty efficient. I don't know, man. It hasn't worked. Really, really disappointing there. I just don't understand it. I really don't. So we'll have to see. We'll just see what happens there. All right, can you drop Love or Baker for Kyle? Either one. God, I've seen enough of Love. I'm sorry, I just have. I have Herbert, Wilson, and Johnson. I'm down 30 points. Johnson's the key there. I'm not sure. He's going to be locked up with he's a rookie going against Sauce or DJ Reed. 30 points. I think you should get that. I think Herbert, he's always throwing it around. I think he'll be all right. Trading Justin Fields and Jalen Warren for Hopkins and Miles Sanders. My backcourt staff for my stars. Allen. Okay. I mean, Hopkins with Will Levis, I think is a good thing. All right, guys. I think I'm going to jump out there. Roschon is droppable, yes, because Khalil Herbert. They've opened the window for him to return. Should Hurts knee be okay rest of the season? Listen, they have a bye coming up, so that's gonna help. So, but I am concerned about the knee a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna jump out, guys. Gonna watch this game tonight. Hopefully, Austin Eckler brings it home for me. I will have a Tuesday waiver wire stream tomorrow, so hit that notification button as well. There will be a wrap-up video tomorrow morning about the Jets-Chargers, so look for that. All right, guys, so have a great night. Enjoy the game, and we will talk tomorrow.